Hey, it's Matt with Magee Farms. Getting ready to do an oil change on the Jeep and the truck. These are vehicles I don't drive that much, so I usually only change the oil about once a year. And while I did it, I figured I'd grab the camera and kind of go through a tutorial of how to change your own oil if you know, it's something you've never done before. Everyone's got to learn. And I've got everything kind of in front of me here. I have my oil pan here. This is from Garvey Tech. I just got this. They sent it to me to try out for some of the stuff I work on the YouTube channel. So I'm kind of excited about that. I've also got my oil. It's going to take 5 quarts, so I've got a good Schaeffer oil. Now the Jeep should take 10W4 or 10W30, but you can go up or down 1 on weight. And 530 they had in stock, and this Schaeffer, if you ever use this stuff is really good oil. So you know, I'd rather go down a little bit and you know, get the better oil. But definitely one of the better brands, possibly one of the best brands out there. I've also got my oil filter, and my Jeep has a lot of miles on it, and it's got a little bit of a tick. It really doesn't have a oil leak in it, but the reason I have these two is the oil stabilizer and the stop leak. Mixing those together and mixing them in place of a half to 1 quart of oil is good about stopping the lifter tick, which happens when you first start up the car. You'll hear a little ticking. It's usually because the oil has dropped down and it's not hitting the top. And then once it warms up, it kind of goes away. But I'm going to add a little of that to it. I've heard that mixing them helps out, so we're going to try it and see. The other thing that you are going to need if you change your oil is a ratchet set, so you can get the drain plug off of there. And if you're in a smaller car, like with the Jeep, I can just crawl under there. It's got plenty of space. Same thing with the truck. But, you know, we'll walk out here a little bit. Got a couple of other cars out here. We've got this Volkswagen and this Benz out here that are kind of daily drivers. On something like that, you really need to jack it up because they're really low to the ground. And you want to get in your manual and find out if you've got to do that, because there's certain places that you need to put your jack on a small car like this. On my truck, on my Jeep, if I have to jack it up for something, I just basically go under there and get to the frame and do the frame. The other thing I like to do also, you see I got my this 4x6 over here. I keep a couple of those around, and if I am working under a car and I have it jacked up, I get a couple of those and I put them under just in case the jack were to fail. That way, you know, if I'm underneath it, it doesn't fall on top of me. So let's get in there and start changing some oil. Okay, so crawling underneath the Jeep, what you're gonna, well, any vehicle, but in my case the Jeep, what you're gonna do, you can see right up in front of me here, I've got my drain plug, which is just a bolt. You just need a ratchet to get that off. And then you want to get your oil pan underneath, because when you let it go, it is going to kind of go everywhere. So you want to make sure you catch everything. So I've got my oil pan out. I got a ratchet set here. I'm going to set the camera down, and I'm going to loosen this bolt right here. And we should have all the oil start to pour out. Okay, I've got the drain plug loosened. I'm just going to take it off. I'll probably end up getting a little oil on my hands. But hopefully with this new oil pan, I'm not going to get it on my garage floor at all. So we're going to let this oil drain out. Once it's drained out, we're going to go get the oil filter, take the old oil filter off, and put the new one on. All right, I'm up top, and I'm going to my oil filter, which is right down here. And there's a couple different kind of wrenches. These are the ones that kind of look like big locking pliers. I tend to prefer. I mean, it's all up to your preference. If you got an inline filter, then you don't use these. It's basically you got to take two sides apart and pull the filter out. But that's for another video. As far as this goes, though, this is just a regular old school type oil filter. Looks like this. Put your wrench on, and it's going to go around. Hopefully you can see it from here. And it should come off fairly easy. I got my pan under it because it is going to drip a little oil out when I pull it. As you can see, not a whole lot, but it's basically what's in the filter. Hopefully all that went in that big pan. Those pans are a little expensive, but honestly, as much as I work on stuff with tractors, I think it'll be handy. Now, you got an O-ring right here, and before you put the new one on, what you want to do is kind of put the two together and just get like a little bit of a seal of the old oil. You want to make sure you got it around the O-ring. It just kind of helps it stick a little better. Now, another thing I've had in the past with some stuff is I've had oil filters that get put on, and they get put on way too tight, and they don't want to come off, especially older cars, like used cars and tractors that I picked up. And I have had to where I've basically taken a spike or a bolt and basically hammered a bolt like through it, and then use that to get more pressure, because I've had times where these did not want to come off at all. Luckily, this one came off easy because I was the last one to change it. So, let me move this out of the way so I don't get it on my shirt. Gonna put the new oil filter in. I can snake my hand through there. Some of the newer cars, like Volkswagens, a lot of times I just buy my own oil and I take them in somewhere to get done. Some places don't charge you a whole lot if you have your own stuff, but they're so low to the ground and they're such a pain to get to the filter. The last couple Passats I had were really bad about that. So, okay, I got this one started. So I'm just going to screw it on there. As tight as I can get it by hand, and then I'm going to grab my wrench and give it a couple of turns. I want to tighten up, nothing's going to come out, but I also, don't want it to leak at all. Nice thing with older cars is you actually have a little room to work in there. That's something you don't see on a lot of newer stuff. Okay, that's on. That should be good and tight. I'm going to go back and I'm going to put the drain plug in, then we're going to add the oil. Alright, so it's pretty much stopped. A little trickle still coming out. That's enough. I'm going to go ahead, start this back in. Get the finger tight. I'll come back with the, tighten it as much as I can with this, and then I'll get the actual ratchet and give it one or two more turns and make sure it's good and tight, and then we're going to start adding oil. Another thing I did too is the old oil filter. I've got it upside down on my oil pan on the screen to let all the oil drain out of it before I throw it away. So I've got the oil cap off. I've got a funnel up there, and I put 1 quart in. Now what I'm going to do is my Lucas that kind of helps a little bit with the lifter tick. I'm going to mix this in the quart container that I already put in. So I'm basically, the stop leak, about 20%, not a whole lot of it's going to go in there. From what I've kind of seen, something about mixing the two of these. Oh, I need a lot more than that. Something about mixing the two of these really seems to help. I'm about to find out. I've never actually used it before, but you can actually put, I think it's 20% of your oil replacement with the stop leak, and up to 60% with this, I believe is what it says on the containers. I'm not going anywhere near that, but I'm going to put a little bit in there because, you know, it's an older, this Jeep's older. I've got about 150,000 miles on it. Love this. This is one of the, they call it the LJ, the Jeep Wrangler Unlimited, the TJ Unlimited, which they didn't make that many. They made about 30, 40,000 of them, and you know, no telling how many of these are left, but the YJ and the TJ I always kind of considered to be some of the best Jeeps out there, the best ones that were ever really made. And with this having that extra 3.5, 4 foot of room, it gives it a nicer ride and a little more room for stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. This stuff's like really thick. And what it's going to do is it's going to stick to those lifters when everything else drops down into the pan. So, you got that in. I'm going to put the rest of this oil in, and I'm going to get underneath and I'm going to check my work for leaks to make sure I got everything good and tight. But that's pretty much all you do. Changing your oil, probably one of the simplest car maintenance things you can do. Changing your oil, changing a tire, changing spark plugs, changing transmission fluid. All of it is super easy, but you take it to a shop and they're a little pricey sometimes. So yeah, if you can do it yourself, save you some money and use a little better oil. But I'm going to let it run. I'm going to check the oil, see if I need to add any more. Sometimes after it runs a minute and kind of cycles through, you get in there, check the dipstick, and you got to add a little more. I've got a feeling I'm probably going to have to add about a half quart, just because that mixture that I put in of the other stuff was not quite a quart. It was about 3/4 of a quart. Set this on a tripod here, and I'll check the oil real quick. See where we're at here. I'll line this up. All right. So here we go. Yeah, just as I thought, probably about a half quart low. So I'm going to add about a half quart to this. I'm going to let it run a little bit and see if it sounds any better. So here's the aftermath of spills, which were my fault. Squatch, get back. Dog's gonna get all oily. I've got this because I just didn't have the pan lined up correctly. And then this one here, I overflowed the, when I was pumping it out of there. But you always keep some kitty litter or some oil spill stuff whenever you're doing this, or doing anything with hydraulics or oil or transmission. That way it kind of keeps it from having oil stains all over. This garage is about to get a good cleaning anyway. Once everything's cleaned up, it's going to be hit with a pressure washer, so every stain should hopefully be gone at that point. But until then, at least I kind of got it contained. But anyway, that's how you change your own oil. Hope it helped you out. Believe me, it's something anybody can do. It'll save you some money. And you feel good when you do it. It's Matt from Magee Farms. If you enjoy the videos, please consider giving us a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel, sharing it with your friends. It's much appreciated and it helps the channel grow. Would also like to thank Garvey Tech that I've got the that oil drain with the pump on it. They sent it to me to use, and very appreciative of them. And also Chris Russell from Schaeffer Oil, who hooked me up with the oil on this. Definitely did want to say thank you to him for cutting me a break on that oil. because that is the good stuff. And since this thing's probably not going to get another oil change for 2 years now with this oil, glad to know it's going to have the good stuff in there. Till next time, have a great day.